Good afternoon, everyone. We are Brisbane Group 7, and we are going to talk about effectiveness business communication today. My name is Kevin Shi. The other two group members are Tanusi and Deep. This presentation will analyze verbal business communication, including factors of ineffectiveness and different levels of problems. Here are main parts of the whole presentation. I'm going to explain the communication issue. Deep will talk about Shannon-Weaver's model, and Tanusi will give the solutions and recommendations based on this model. In this presentation, we will focus on how to use Shannon-Weaver's model to analyze the reasons and the effects of these business issues. During communication process, different channels and noise are the challenges of inefficient communication. The barriers and the noise between senders and the receivers should be the reasons of misunderstanding or failure of transition. To begin with, I would like to mention the real business issue about verbal communication. Verbal communication problems are normally caused by translation difficulties, misunderstanding, or the misunderstanding. With the development of diverse culture, people from different countries study and work together in the same school or same company. In this situation, they need to speak in a same language to understand each other. A good interpreter can build a relationship between people with different language background. In most times, we prefer to use our second language to speak each other. However, cultural differences will lead to misunderstanding or difficulties to represent their own ideas. For example, if a person used slang and the others couldn't understand, the listeners may think he or she used a rude word. Egocentrism is the second problem in verbal communication. If receiver is not interested in the sender's message, he or she might refuse to listen to the message or ignore the key points in the message. For example, in an argument or a debate, the senders normally have their ideas to try to persuade the receivers to get and follow their views. However, due to egocentrism in the receiver's mind, they thought the information is less valuable or important. The loss of information in communication is the third issue. The loss in message may lead to the failure of communication. What's worse, the misunderstanding happen between senders and receivers may result in other business issues. For example, if a manager wanted to have a meeting and he failed to notify to all members, some staffs got the message and others confused. As a result, the loss of information led to an unsuccessful meeting. In the following part, Deep will explain how we use Shannon-Weaver's model to analyze this issue. Thank you.
Hi friends, I'm Deepu Salim. I would like to talk about the model we used in this case. As our case mainly focused on the specific barriers of verbal communication, such as noise and selecting the channel, we have decided to select Shannon-Weaver model to explain this issue. Shannon-Weaver model. According to Shannon-Weaver model, a message is transmitted from information sources to the receiver through a channel and then to the destination. But Due to the presence of barriers or noise in the communication channel, there may be interruption in passing the message from the sender to the receiver. As you can see from the slide, the various categories of communication include information sources, transmitter, receiver, and to the destination. So noise is a barrier that can happen in the channel. So it is important to select an appropriate channel for passing or sending a message. This would help to maintain the clarity of the message from the sender to the receiver without any noise. During the conversation, its medium is the channel, for instance, air, telephone, and internet. Normally, air can be the channel for face-to-face conversation. Wire or telephone signal is the channel of phone call speaking. According to Shannon Weaver model, the main issue found in each of these channels is the noise through the transmission as follows: unclear and low voice of message and bad grammar, abbreviation and jargons can cause misunderstanding. In a phone call, there might be physical noise in the environment the sender or the receiver are in. For example, when people have phone call, the noise around may lead to unsuccessful conversation. Unstable signal in a video conference could be a technical problem in the communication, but it may also have to do with the quality and effectiveness of the communication. Now, let us talk about the barriers in verbal communication. To make a verbal communication effective, the senders should transfer information to receivers with a few loss of data. Thus, appropriate channels, high quality of communication skills, and strong protection from obstruction during the transmission process should be used between senders and receivers. Barriers such as ambiguity, cultural differences, and inappropriate mediums are three main factors which would affect the effectiveness of communication. Sometimes we will use words like possibly, perhaps, which is not accurate to give the point of views. Specific communication problems may arise from the situation that senders do not realize the ambiguity of these phrases. With the development of sociology, many people have realized that language and intercultural differences will increase more problems in information transmission. In terms of receiver, if he or she has poor listening skills or lack of attention, the listener may receive less or incorrect information from the sender. The emotional interference of receivers may lead to distortion of information. Emotions such as anger, frustration, happiness, enthusiasm needs to be defensive, desire to be assertive, etc. These factors all can have impact on verbal communication. As a result, barriers happen between senders and receivers will have great influence on the effectiveness of verbal communication. Now my friend Tausid will explain about the solution of this case and the conclusion. Thank you.
Thank you, Depu. Now we move to the solution of communication. To tackle these barriers, the cultural difference, the theory of face negotiation suit to comprehension on how people predict the face work in cultural differences. It can be seen that individual can discern other individual image by protect the feeling with the loyalty, interactions, honor, status, and respect. Another one is acknowledge the individual or identify cultures with particular situation. The second issue will tackle by interpersonal communications that tackle the self-assumptions or social ignorance. This can be where people communicate one-to-one or small groups in different situations. Such as self-disclosure is a process that people communicate each other with their open mind, such as emotions, happy, expectation, thoughts, and so on. Another aspect is intrinsic values. It gives the outcome when people satisfy and pleasure with the communication which is tangible and outcomes. The last one, the lost information. People could not avoid lost information when they record or communicate each other. To avoid this issue, the communicator or people has to select the proper channel of communications to be the evidence when they would like to recall the information. To summarize this report, I can conclude that and my team and my friends, communication in business is prime important in the globalized world. So the sender and receiver have to be more careful about the selection of communication channels, segregations of messages, and people as per the priority. In addition, advanced technology is the communication channel that would help to deliver the accurate or the right information without any influence. So that's all for our presentation, and thank you for watching our presentation. Thank you.